Oh, Misa. Can we just lift her high on that? Woo! And I have to say, I was in the room when she recorded that live. It was like, remember those old, was it Maxell cassette tapes where the guy would sit down and his hair would get blown back? That was, it was powerful. And it's so true how we start with these very clear, very powerful intentions. How many people here started the new year with some powerful intentions, with some optimism, with some hope, with something, right? As we stepped into 2021. And I don't know about you guys, but I still feel like it's, December 57th or something from 2020. It's like it doesn't feel like anything is really given way. And I have spoken to a lot of people who have shared with me just how tired they are. And I gotta say, I'm with you. I think we're all here together. And it's hard because this community, this desire, for me, it's a need to be in community, is challenging right now. So I want to read you something from Howard Thurman. I read this every year, so this is sort of a touchstone for me, and it's become a touchstone here at Unity San Francisco, because I read this every year, because I feel like by the time we get to February, whether or not it's the twilight of COVID, by the time we get to February, whatever those high moments were that we stepped into kind of fall away and dissolve away a little bit. And so this is a pep talk in a lot of ways to remind us of who we are and what we're actually here to be and do. The moments of my high resolve. Keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve. Despite the dullness and barrenness of the days that pass, if I search with due diligence, I can always find a deposit left by some former radiance. But I had forgotten. At the time it was full-orbed, glorious and resplendent. I was sure I would never forget. In the moment of its fullness, I was sure that it would illumine my path for all the rest of my journey. I had forgotten how easy it is to forget. There was no intent to betray what seemed so sure at the time. My response was whole, clean, authentic. But little by little, there crept into my life the dust and grit of the journey. Details, lower-level demands, all kinds of cross currents, nothing momentous, nothing overwhelming, nothing flagrant, just wear and tear. If there had been some direct challenge, a clear-cut issue, I would have fought it to the end and beyond. In the quietness of this place, surrounded by the all-pervading presence of God, my heart whispers, keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, that in fair weather or in foul, in good times or in tempests, in the days when the darkness and the foe are nameless or familiar, I may not forget that to which my life is committed. Keep fresh before me my moments of high resolve. That's from For the Inward Journey by Howard Thurman. And what's interesting about that is that what's different this year is that there really are huge things, right? There really are large and momentous things that have been standing in our way. And so while the hope may have been that we were going to set out on the new year like this, optimistic, and with everything working for us, there has just been so much that is going on in our lives. We've had 2 impeachments. We had the events of January 6th. We've had Black Lives Matter. We've had voter rights issues. We've had LGBTQ plus rights. We've got a climate crisis that seems to have taken a backseat to everything. COVID, of course. And there's just so much financial insecurity for so many people right now. Over 500,000 Americans dead. More than 1 million worldwide. This is the world that we're trying to navigate right now. So while we may have started off feeling all lighthearted, this is, I don't know, personally how I think it's a lot closer to what we actually feel and look like. And honestly, I have been feeling more like that. It's just enough, right? Enough. And yet, keep fresh before me the moments of my high resolve, whether in fair weather or in foul, in good times or in tempests, in the days when the darkness and the foes are nameless or familiar. I may not forget that to which my life is committed. What is your life committed? To what is your life committed? What is it that you value? What is it that you stand in? What is it that is important to you? I know what's important to me. I know what has literally saved my life. These beautiful principles that we stand in unity. Principles of love and wholeness and goodness and divine awareness, the pure potential, perfection, right? This is what we know, we believe, this container of wholeness that we are continually being invited into. So what exactly are these principles, though? What do they really mean? Principles of truth are statements of truth that are true no matter what. They are true. They are constant. They cannot be shifted. They cannot be moved. They are that which is available to us always. And so if you look at principles of mathematics to give us a window into the principles of spiritual principles, they can help us to understand 2 + 2 = 4. And it doesn't matter how you try to change that or adjust it, 2 + 2 is always going to equal 4. That is a principle. And how we get to use that principle impacts our life. It's how we make change. It's how we give and receive. It's how we balance our checkbook. And if you add up 2 + 2 and get 5, or you get 3, then the impact on your life shows up. But it's not the principle that has done anything. It's that your use of the principle is somehow not serving your greatest and highest good. The other thing about spiritual principles is that they're additive and inclusive. So if we have the principle of addition, once we master that principle, guess what? We can also master subtraction. And once we master subtraction, we can master multiplication, and then division, and then algebra, and then calculus, and then we're building buildings. Because we have the capacity to understand how these principles work together to support what it is that we are creating and building. So the thing to remember about spiritual principles, just like the principle of mathematics, is that they are consistent, they are reliable, and they are additive. The more you build upon them, the more you have available to you, the more you understand how these principles of truth are operating, you can access them in new and in powerful and more creative ways. So we have life happening all around us, and we are experiencing life, and we have all that's going on out there in the world, and maybe even what's going on within ourselves, the emotions, the apathy, the lethargy, the pain, the sorrow. And we would call that in our teachings the visible, right? And it has a lot of power. It feels very alive. It feels very in our faces. The invitation is to shift that, to shift your focus. These principles of truth, the realm of the absolute, they're not a magic formula that's automatically going to make everything in your life just be ease and grace and flow. We're still going to be sick. We're still going to lose our job. We're still going to be frustrated about what is happening in terms of racial and social injustice. But when we are anchored in the idea that these principles are available to us right now. It's almost as if we're able to shift our focus. And this is how we are able to remember our moments of high resolve, to remember the things that we actually care about, to remember the values that we want to stand in, to remember that this is a world that we want to work for everyone. So what is your commitment? What is your life committed to? Really? Because whatever you're living into right now is what you are committed to. Where is your attention? What are you focused on? Are you focused on all the things that are not working? And let me tell you, there are a lot of things that are not working. And where are you looking from? Are you looking from the awareness of the divinity that you are, the divinity that everyone is? Are you looking from the prism of absolute, the realm of the absolute, these principles of love and wholeness and power and strength? Because that is the invitation. Always the invitation in this beautiful, beautiful teaching. And how do we do this? How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. This is what we are being invited into. And I don't know about you, but this has been a year of hardcore practice. And while you may be feeling what I have been feeling, which is just at the root of it, just tired. There is always more that is available to us. Because we are infinite beings, having an infinite experience, even when it feels as if we're caught in a very, very small dimension right now. There is something larger that is seeking to express. And the invitation is to step into that practice with other people, especially in this time. It is so easy to fall into the isolation, to fall into that sense that we are alone, and we're not. There is only one life, one breath, one beingness. There is no other. We are all connected as these divine, unique expressions of holiness, of love, of grace. So I found this African proverb, which I just loved. If you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I think that this speaks, because part of what this whole year has been teaching me is patience. I like to go quickly. It's in my nature. I'm a zeal girl. I like to go quickly. But I've been alone for too long. I want to go far. I want to grow in ways that I don't even know what they are right now. And in order to do that, I need to be in this sacred Sangha. I need to be with other people. I need to be rubbing up against life itself, because that's what we are to each other, expressions of life. Spiritual formation cannot be a private thing, because it is a matter of whole life transformation. You need to seek out others in your community who are pursuing the renovation of the heart. I just loved that. The renovation of the heart. And maybe because we're renovating this building, that word just really spoke to me. But my invitation with you right now is to join me in the renovation of your heart. Diving into these powerful principles. I am starting to be teaching embodied principle today. It's going to be a 10-week course. And the whole purpose of this class is foundational principle. Starting with the most basic building blocks and growing from there. And when we work that way, we're able to discover where we have a little bit of a gap where we think we intellectually understand something, but how is it actually living as our life? And we get to do that in sacred community. We get to do that where we get to hold each other and see each other and love each other and lift each other up in that agreement that we are all pursuing the renovation of our hearts. So let's take this into a time of meditation.